Welcome, welcome, welcome. We will have a super interesting topic today, which is male orgasms and
other delights.
So what we want to talk about is male orgasms, the different types of male orgasms, and I can promise you that it's very likely that at least some of them are new to you. So that will be the first thing we'll talk about. We'll also speak about the journey that a man can take to go from addiction to ejaculation, because it is a thing, in fact. We will also speak about how a woman can support a man in his unleashing of his deeper sexuality. And then we will go into some questions, because many of you sent us some really interesting questions. So we will address some of those.
Awesome.
So for those of you who don't know, this is my beloved Oliver.
Good to meet you all. It's a pleasure. And I'm super honored and super joyful actually to be here with you and to be here with you also. and to speak about this topic, which is so important and where so much beauty, I think, is hidden also. And maybe just to give a little intro or a little story from my side. So we were speaking these days about, okay, what would be a nice topic for us to speak? And somehow I got this flashback of myself when I was 16 years old. And I had found this book on, I think it was called How to Become a Sex God or something like this, yeah? So something like this. I was quite early in my exploration. I hadn't had a girlfriend, nothing. I didn't even have any sort of sexual interaction, but I was already full on into the, how to be a sex god thing.
Earlier the better.
And so I was reading this and I tried to do this for all the wrong reasons, yeah? So I was just actually at heart feeling really insecure about myself. And what I wanted to do is that I wanted to impress women, yeah, with my sexual skills that I had already learned before having my first interaction and so on and so forth. But actually what it did, and I studied then all the techniques and the practices and the theory and stuff like this, and I applied it also a little bit, but it didn't work at all, because I came from this perspective of wanting to impress somebody and not from a perspective of a joyful exploration of life and of myself. And so many years after that, I dropped it. And then many years later, I came to rediscover this, the different male orgasms, and came to really tap into that. And that's why I would love to share about that today for the other brothers who maybe feel also somewhere on the path a little bit stuck, or who are also putting all this pressure on themselves, or whatever the case may be. But to really just give a little, share my perspective and have a delightful chat with you about this topic.
Yeah. So I think that's an important piece to address, that generally the masculine in all of us, and many men will be familiar with that, many women also, there is this thing that we do to ourselves, is putting pressure on ourselves. And sometimes it's usually, most of the time, it's the most kind of counterproductive thing that we can ever do, because when we put so much pressure on ourselves, either we really try to do our best to really show ourselves that we can be that, there's this attitude of proving something to ourselves or to our parents or to the world, just to somebody, to prove something. Or there is another thing, that this attitude of giving up, that I put so much pressure on myself, so it's okay, who am I to achieve any of that? So I just want to give up, it's not for me, I'm too old. Maybe also some of you are thinking that even now you're listening that, oh, it's too woo-woo, or I'm too old, or I am too this, I'm too that. So don't listen to those voices, and know that really it is totally physiologically possible to develop different types of orgasms. I've witnessed thousands and thousands of men who really discovered this completely new world of pleasure, new world of masculinity, new world of being connected to the heart and to the totality of life. So yeah, let's go into this.
Let's go.
And share
Beautiful.
Your view on that.
And just before we dive into the actual types, I just feel to sort of wrap up this story for you, because now we sort of begun it, and I just feel to sort of say where it ended. So when I started to read all this stuff with 16, it led to exactly what you just described. There was so much pressure on me, and actually I was really having a hard time with getting a healthy sexuality going afterwards, because I just put so much pressure on myself. So I ended up like seeing doctors at age 20 because I thought my sexuality didn't work, and like I was being checked for erectile dysfunction and stuff like this. And it's just all in the mind. It's this pressure game. So well, and then later everything shifted, fortunately, and has come into a very new paradigm of sex and yeah, joy in that. So, but I just want to share that for all the men out there who are putting the pressure on themselves. Like, take it easy. I know how it feels, but we need to sort of slow down and take it a little easy on ourselves to make these discoveries. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to share this, and then let's go into the different types of male orgasms. Mm-hmm. And like Sophia will maybe later give like all the different types, and like there's
because
yeah, she's an expert on the matter, obviously.
No.
So so we have the right authority speaking here. But like for me, I'll just make it really simple with the types of orgasms, and I'll just classify them into 3 types from my experience. So the first type is a physical orgasm in my classification. Yeah, this one we all know. So the physical orgasm coming with like this contraction. Yeah, live demo of the physical orgasm. No, but you know how this looks. Yeah, so the pumping of a muscle, and then the ejaculation, and like this fountain, whatever the case may be, and really.
The champagne.
Exactly, champagne showers. But so it's really with an emphasis on this physical aspect. It's a very strong physical sensation. This pulsation is very strong, and like we could also say it's a gross sensation, not in the form of like gross somehow like disgusting or something, but gross and subtle. So gross because it's like quite a dense experience. And this obviously is the orgasm that we kind of know as men, because this is what we are taught about. This is of course serving the reproductive purpose, and so this is what we know. Very pleasant, and of course it comes with this short-term, like really high. Afterwards we have it down, yeah, we feel depleted after the ejaculation, and then like the best thing is to go to sleep right after that, and to sort of drift off into this slumber and be sort of liberated also through this experience.
Yeah, I want to just say here that you say depleted, but you say it because like of your awareness of that. For most men, what it will be is they will feel relaxed. They will say, oh, it's so good to ejaculate because I feel release and I feel relaxed. So many men think that that's what happens, but in fact, actually what happens is a loss of energy that creates a depletion, and then yeah, there comes a relaxation, but it's like a byproduct of that depletion. There's also another piece to male orgasm, and we received some questions about it also from women and from men who say, well, I really want to practice non-ejaculation or non-ejaculatory orgasms, but my woman just wouldn't, like she just doesn't want it, like she wants me to ejaculate. Yeah, that's one piece, and yeah, sometimes men kind of ask what to do about it, and then also there are women who just love to experience male ejaculation, and we will speak about women's role in that, and the attitude that the woman can also take around that.
Yeah, amazing. So this is part of the other delights that we will speak about later. Okay, so this is the first type of orgasm, or the first sort of broad category. The second category, in my experience, is anything that's in the energetic realm. So I would call this an energetic orgasm. This is not tied to the ejaculation, and somebody's asking here, is ejaculation necessary to reach orgasmic comfort? No, so this is now coming into the energetic orgasm, where we have learned as men to separate the ejaculation from the orgasm itself, because actually it's 2 different moments in time, and also two different events, yeah, 2 different events happening. But we need to learn to separate it, and then we can tap into this energetic orgasm that does not come with ejaculation. And the way to describe this, from my experience, is it's a bit as if we are connected to an electric current through the body, so we can really feel then a rush of energy coming in this sort of orgasm, which can be very local. So this can be also quite local, for example, in the cock or in the lower belly or wherever you feel it. Or we can also develop first of all, the awareness, and second, also the ability to circulate, so there's a certain freedom in our inner world that we can develop, so that this experience can spread out. And so then it's not only that we feel this electric, very pleasant current in the cock, for example, but we feel it then, let's say, to the chest, or maybe all over the body. And eventually, even when we attune more and more finely our awareness to the energy that is there in the moment, we can even feel this outside of our body. So it sort of expands and it becomes wider and wider and more subtle. So yeah, the growth is on the physical, and the more subtle we go, we come into this energetic realm, into this energetic orgasm. So that's what it is. It's super pleasant. The thing here is, and we will speak a little bit later more about the journey that we need to take as men in order to sort of discover this and develop this, but it takes awareness to enjoy this orgasm, because it's not so gross. So we need to really train ourselves to enjoy what's happening and to really really feel very finely the sensations of this energy, because it's not this it can be even more intense than this, but the access point is through the subtle. So we need to learn to enjoy the subtlety of this. Mm-hmm. I think this is sort of now a compacted version. Maybe later we can speak about more details. But yeah, maybe you have something to add also.
I think it's brilliant. I'll just say that many men just even they hear about this and they're like, oh, but how to do this, and then they may even go into practice and then they're still like, wow, but what is this full body orgasm? Is it really real? And then they say okay, even when they start experiencing it, then sometimes oh, but still ejaculation is so much more intense. It's or they expect this kind of orgasm, this energetic orgasm, to feel like ejaculation. It doesn't feel like this, but maybe you can say which one do you find more pleasurable, or how the pleasure is different in ejaculatory versus energetic?
So the energetic is much more harmonious, I would say, because the physical orgasm, it's it's so strong in the system, it can be almost, especially once we have sort of developed this capacity for some time, it can be almost painful for me. It's still super, super pleasurable when I decide to come like that, but it's really strong. So the energetic is much more harmonious, and it really sort of expands my energy and expands my being. It keeps cultivating my energy, so it's much more replenishing, I would say, or invigorating experience. And it can be even more strong, but it builds up, and that's just really a joy. I mean, that's amazing. It's definitely worth the journey. Yeah, and we will speak about the journey a little bit later. So that somebody asked the question, okay, how can we develop this? Mm-hmm. So we will speak about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, and what's the third one?
And then the third one, so we said physical, energetic, and the third one, in my experience, it sort of transcends these categories. I would call this a soul orgasm, and this for me is an orgasm in which I completely merge with you, with my partner, but then also with the essence of you and I, in which we are not two persons, but we are meeting in the very essence of our being, in the very essence of life and of existence. And this is possible to experience when we allow our consciousness to become really, really wide in lovemaking. And the way to get there, to get to this third stage, again, the journey we'll speak more later, but the way to get there is actually through you in this case. So because your orgasmic potential is higher than mine, your pleasure potential, because we are playing this polarity in which you are taking, so there's many different aspects here, polarity is one of them, in which you are taking the role of the feminine part, where you experience the pleasure and you really let go into that. And I'm taking more the role of the masculine, sort of observing and holding space for you. So that said, in order to come to the soul orgasm, you are having a phenomenal experience, and you are sort of melting down and surrendering deeper and deeper to life's fuck delivered through me, and I just feel you, actually. So that's what's happening. And I am so attuned with you that I merge with you, and I merge with all of existence behind it. And so it's a very different experience. Like it's, yeah, that's what happens, and it's just really. I mean, it's heart wrenching actually. It feels. How does it feel? It's a heart wrenching, at the same time very liberating state of sort of no separation, and yeah, super beautiful. And this is I think where this is becoming really spiritual practice, because here we are directly experiencing our spiritual nature. So this is really the stage where we come into practice.
Ah, so beautiful. I'm melting with this. Totally opened by your expression.
That's nice. Somebody asked for live demo earlier.
Yeah, here you go. Yeah, for me as a woman, experiencing this with my partner, and like, it's like I know myself as a woman. Like I know the depth of my heart. You know, I haven't been born like this. It's a result of my dedication and my practice. But I've explored the depth of my heart. I know it to the best of my capacity right now. But then to be met there, it's such a gift. You know, that's where we cannot even put together like ejaculatory orgasm or clitoral orgasm for women. It's like it's a completely different universe that we're talking about. Like being met at the level of my soul, and when you go into those currents that I am unfolding into, and then you're meeting me there and we're merging there. It's like it's so soul fulfilling, so soul satisfying, that there are not many experiences that can come anywhere close to that. Profound states of bliss, of self-realization, of the highest, truest frequency. That's what it really is.
Yes. Yeah, so yeah, for me also, like these are the moments that make me really grateful to be alive. And this is, like, all of this maybe sounds a bit esoteric if you're not, like, sort of exploring your consciousness yet to this point, so bear with us. But yeah, this is for me also what makes me grateful to be alive and to be here in this human form, to experience you in this intimacy as the representation of life herself. So yeah, that's...
It is also interesting that it is esoteric, and at the same time it is so simple. Like, it is incredible how simple it is, but how we forgot this, because this ability is inbuilt in us. Awareness is something we develop, but actually it is because we've put on so much on top of our own purity. We've absorbed so much conditioning, so many beliefs, so much brainwash that we just go through every single day. Then we disconnected from that purity. But in fact, it is so simple. And when people like go through this transformation, and transformation is instant, yeah? Like sometimes the second instant, this can land, this simplicity of being, meeting right there. So as much as it is esoteric and mystical, it is also just incredibly simple. Word. And somebody asked if we could summarize again, so maybe I'll just quickly do that and then we take it further. So we said there's 3 categories of orgasms, and this is from my experience. Other people have different categories. Sophia has different categories in her book, but this is just me sharing. Physical orgasms, which is what all of us know, which comes with ejaculation and a strong physical sensation. Then we have the energetic orgasm, which differs. It can be based in one spot in the body, or it can go like really big. It can become a full body orgasm, or like even we feel our energetic field. And the third one, which we describe now, is this sort of soul merging, and this really merging in the experience beyond experience. So it's actually almost becoming a non-experience, the third one. Yeah, in which we merge with each other. So yeah, those are the 3 categories. And now Sophia, because she's written a book on this, as you know. Well, maybe some of you know a bit of my journey, because for me orgasm was a mystery until I was like 24. It was something I was fascinated by, something I was always drawn to, something that I was Googling, something that I was interrogating all my friends. What do they experience when they orgasm? But for me, I did not experience orgasms actually until that time. Like I could experience it through self-pleasure, but sometimes, but not in connection with a man. And yeah, and so it was really natural for me to write a book about it, because it was something I really went in and really looked for solutions, looked for different practices that helped me, that opened me. And so the book was born, and I also edited it this year, and we also made it even more beautiful, and we added some beautiful pictures to it and stuff, so it's available on Amazon. You can get it. But the organ, I mean, I think what you shared is perfect. Like really, it's like really those three categories is something that is totally accessible for every man, and we don't even need to get more intellectual than that. But just to give you like a bit of a taste, a little bit of like a wider perspective, just, you know, because sometimes even I name those things and people like experience them. Like recently in my online course for women, Connected with Women, a woman shared that she listened to this talk about squirting orgasms, about this incredible capacity that also every woman has, and she said she never experienced it before. She listened to my video, she was so moved by that. The next day she started squirting all over the place and she still continues. So maybe it's something like this, you know, just be here, like
and share in the comments when you're squirting or coming all over the place, like
because it can happen spontaneously, but it can even happen outside of sexual intercourse, which is a completely whole other special topic. So types of orgasms for men. Ejaculatory orgasm, yeah, we talked about it, so everybody knows. Multi-ejaculatory orgasm, when the ejaculation can come in waves. Again, one after the other. It's mostly really young men are capable of that. They just don't have any refractory period. They just keep kind of ejaculating, and they feel super proud of that. But actually, that's really big depletion of energy. It's really quite silly, to be honest, to practice this. I mean, it's okay, you know, we have to try those things, but it's actually really depleting energetically. Then there is a retrograde ejaculation, retrograde ejaculatory orgasm, or million-dollar point orgasm. Yeah, it involves a certain technique where you press on the perineum. Then physical orgasm without ejaculation also can happen. Anal orgasm or prostatic orgasm, which is also a different type of thing, and it involves anal stimulation, of course. Then there is prostatic orgasm with ejaculation, that also sometimes happens for men, and that like ejaculation adds to the prostatic orgasm and like creates a unique experience together. Then there is nipple orgasm. Yeah, so some men can develop such sensitivity in their nipples so that actually there's this fireworks start happening at the level of the chest. Then there also can be mouthed orgasm that can occur during offering how do you call it, cunnilingus to a woman, or offering like kisses to a woman's yoni. So like her pleasure can enter into a man's mouth, and he can actually have this incredible sensation in the mouth that really feels like an orgasm. And also throat orgasm, which also everybody is capable of. It's from stimulation of certain points in the throat. Ta-da!
Boom.
Boom.
So all the things to explore. That's great.
Okay, so let's go into journey, I think.
Right. Yeah. Also, somebody was asking on the comments, like, okay, so what's the journey and what kind of obstacles did you have on your path? So I think this is what we're going to speak about now. So that should answer your question.
Mm-hmm.
So the journey from physical to energetic to this soul sort of merging. So let's start with the physical. The thing is, and we've mentioned it already when we spoke about it, that the sensation is very gross, not subtle, but gross, pleasant, and of course we're also not educated about any of the other types of orgasms. Therefore, I would say most men only know this first orgasm, and it can be quite difficult. It's actually quite difficult to come out of this and to experience this energetic sort of orgasm. It's difficult and it's not difficult, like we'll speak about it now. But the problem is that we as men, and I will just speak for all the men now, are addicted to this physical orgasm. Because this is what we've grown up with, this is what we know, it feels fucking good, and we also like this depletion that we spoke about earlier, that feels like a blissed out peace where we can sleep and forget about everything.
Feel empty.
And feel empty. And all of this comes together and makes us, or made me in the past, just very, very addicted to this type of orgasm. And that's the key obstacle here to overcome. So in order to come over this addiction and come into this energetic realm, we need to have faith. we need to trust that it's actually worth it, and that there's something there which is maybe even better and which is simply worth to explore. And if we don't have faith, if we don't have discipline at this point, then forget about it, because it's like it really takes like a firm choice to say, I will now explore this energetic thing, and I will work for it, and I will do the practices, and I will not ejaculate every time. And from this firm choice, we can come there.
Mm-hmm. Motivation is important, yeah, to really stay on track. What I observe in men is that those who are motivated, like really, they really found, like they really took time to really tune into their intention, into their why. These are the ones who get there, like 100%, like really. And those who are a bit like, well, it's just a fun kind of thing to try, yeah, this is not really likely that you will go. But still, if it's really a deep motivation for you, like, look, I'm really like fascinated by this, I really want to experience this kind of pleasure you're talking about, I really want to kind of experience this kind of new other version of me in this realm of pleasure, that's good enough motivation. You can have some other types of motivations. Maybe like, you can share what was yours.
Yeah, and actually I will share about 2 types of motivations, because I told you about my story when I was a 16-year-old boy and I was sort of exploring these things and wanted to learn all of this. And here my motivation was to impress women. This didn't work. Yeah? No way. Like it's some outer motivation is not going to do the trick. It needs to come from inside. So back then, I didn't really find the joy in it, and I didn't really make it a part of me. And then later, what was my motivation? I mean, it's hard to pinpoint like this for me, but it was just a clear curiosity about life. And I was already in my spiritual practice, I was already developing my meditation and things like this. And I just felt really, really curious to explore what is there and what is available. And probably I saw a talk like this one, where we are speaking now, and probably I saw something like this and saw some man speaking about this, and I got intrigued. So that's how I decided at some point that this is what I want to do. Also, and we will speak a little bit about this, what helped me a lot was to come into an environment where this is being practiced, and also to be like in a physical location together where these sorts of practices are being taught. And this is of course something that you will be offering with the Liberation to Orgasm training happening next week. So this is of course a huge help in getting there and overcoming this addiction.
Yeah, you are together in the field of fire, everybody practices, and also you see real people who also have different like degrees of success with it. Some mastered it, some are on their path, some had their soul revealing experiences through that, and it's really, yeah, that's where you also receive the transmission of that. And so it's the training, if you haven't heard about it yet, I will speak about it more towards the end of the video. It's happening just in a few days. Super exciting.
Yeah, so I mean, if you are watching this and you would like to like really get into this, I think this is, this is amazing. I wish that I would have done something like this a few years ago to give myself this kickstart. Okay, well, and then speaking about the energetic orgasm, we spoke about this location, like that it can be either very locational in the body or it can spread out. And we already said that it's a matter of developing our consciousness to perceive the subtleties. So I want to say this because speaking about the journey that we make as a man, in order to truly appreciate this sort of an orgasm, we need to develop our capacity to feel. And this is still a huge shadow for man, that we still somehow on a collective don't really allow ourselves to feel. And as long as we don't allow ourselves to feel, we will not experience the fullness of what is possible here, because it's about feeling. It's about feeling the subtlety of what's happening. So I can share that when I sort of really got into this, it came with a big wave of grief for me also, and like lots of emotions that I hadn't felt before, that I had somehow like pushed out of my consciousness. But then when we open certain doors and we start to have experiences that are of a certain nature, that are like deep, then this stuff also comes. So we need to also feel our emotions as men. And learn to appreciate and to hold it.
So beautiful. Yeah, I'm so glad you're saying this, because that's exactly, you cannot like orgasm like crazy in bed and then be completely shut off in life. Like you have to feel things, and to feel things, just like you're saying, like also those things that many of us, we like try so hard not to feel them. Like we put all sorts of protections on ourselves that you go like, no, I'm not an angry person. No, 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 I don't have anger. No, 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 I don't have sadness. No, I'm not a sad person. It's for the depressive ones, you know. It's for those other people who are overly vulnerable. You know, it's for them. Like they are the ones who feel. But that's not the way, you know, how life will reveal her totality to you. It's in this choice, a radical choice, to go like, okay, I'm in for all of it, and for the incredible pleasure, and for the deep, deep, dark places inside of me that I've avoided most of my life. So all of that has to open, and once you feel it all, then yeah, that's a huge step towards the orgasm. It may actually be even instant, you know, once you really. It can be even the same kind of, yeah. Sometimes just by going into an emotion, even that can actually feel orgasmic.
Boom. Yeah, so indeed it's not just a choice that we want to sort of develop this capacity to orgasm, but it's actually a choice that we choose to live, and that we choose to really truly be alive with all that life has to offer, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and the orgasm. Like it all comes in a package, and it's beautiful, but we need to decide for that. Otherwise there's no way to get this.
Yeah, thanks people for your questions there, or for your comments and for your hearts. It's so well received, and I love that you are resonating. So great. Okay.
Beautiful. So this is sort of this continued journey to the energetic orgasm. Now we come to this soul-merging orgasm experience that we described. And this, for me, like I said earlier, this is the realm of spiritual practice, like really hardcore practice. And to get there, we need to be dedicated to our path. Like for me, the fundament for this is a really, really solid meditation practice. Without a really solid meditation practice, I think I would never have experienced this. And I cannot come to the bedroom expecting from you to deliver God to me if I haven't found God by myself. That's how I feel about this. So, like for me, first I need a strong meditation practice. I need to know sort of, like at least have a glimpse of what is possible and like what's a really expansive, open state. And then if I bring this into the bedroom without expectation from you, but with this really a big openness, that's where this experience can happen and where this like really beauty can unfold. And it doesn't always, like, I mean, this is one of those things that we cannot force. So yeah, also for us, it's not always like this, that we always have this sort of experience. It's yeah, it's grace.
Yeah, so beautiful. Yeah, someone asked before, what's a good strategy to invite your man into this world? Like, is it a good idea to send him the video, or is it better that he finds it himself? I think the best is that you share it, like genuinely share it, and then if he follows you, he will probably be very interested in watching. It definitely, like if you keep like giving your man advice, like, oh, do this, oh, do that, oh, do this, in the end he will say just like no, like no to everything. And it's also not really a happy place for you, most probably, to keep giving him direction. I really doubt that you are really happy with that. So yeah, best is just to have this open invitation, you know, make it known that you are interested in those things, like leave your screen open with this video, for example, and yeah, the curiosity should come from him, definitely. That's my take.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love this. Yeah, 100% second that also as a man, and I'm just going to speak for men now, maybe not for everyone, but I will try my best from my heart, and we are very sensitive beings also. And especially this thing of putting pressure and sort of, okay, you have to do this, or I want you not to have ejaculatory orgasm anymore so that you please me better, or I don't know what. It's really painful, and it's not the way to develop this from my perspective. It needs, like we said, from within, without. Which doesn't mean you cannot support this, and that's I think also something that I think somebody asked also, that we can speak about how to support this.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for loving this. And now maybe we can go straight into questions. Yeah. So if you have questions that you want to ask, welcome to type. We have also a bunch of things here, really interesting questions on different topics. Also, I do want to say a few words about Liberation to Orgasm immersion that's coming. So if you don't mind. mind. I'll just share it for words right now. So we have just 5 spots open for 5 men. So brothers, we really, really want you there. We've had a group call just a couple of days ago. We have amazing tribe of people coming together, and it would be really beautiful for us to have a little bit more of masculine presence. We have already quite a bunch of men, but like we are still calling in a few more. So if you feel like you want to be in a super supportive environment that really, in a gentle way, in a kind way, and yet in a way that is direct and clear and also transformative, if you want to be held in that, you're super welcome to join us for Liberation to Orgasm training that starts this Sunday and goes for a week here in Portugal. So people are traveling from different places. They are doing it because they are radical souls, and that's who we are really calling. This is the soul family of the radical souls coming together. And you will see, like when we exactly go through this journey that we just spoke about, there is a process of connecting with your body, connecting with your emotions, connecting with your heart, just connecting, but also even deeper than that, we will be dropping into really deep presence, into deep stillness that's underneath it all, and that's exactly the pathway to the soul-revealing, earth-shaking, mind-blowing experiences of God, of orgasmic bliss.
Oh, yeah, let's go. If I can just add like one sentence to this, like this is gonna just blow you open. Like if you make this decision for yourself to come, then come prepared to like step into something really radically new in yourself. And I cannot wait to be there with you guys and to make this journey together. It's gonna be really fucking epic. Yeah.
Yay. Okay. Hey Michael, put it on Real Love. Yeah, we can put it there. So let's go into questions. I saw that someone was saying something that you say you have depression, what to do. Well, there are different approaches how to work with those heavy emotions, and if we don't address our heavy emotions or the emotion that we don't like, then we start to go into depression, into anxiety, into things that so many people in this world are just trapped in. So what needs to happen is this cleansing. What needs to happen is that you need to really air your emotions. You need to bring out what's deep inside of you, what is the pain that's going on, and bring it to light. Like look at it, live it, process it. It's hard by yourself. Like if you don't have the tools, if you don't have the support, it's very hard by yourself. And also if you don't have the community, also now, you know, in our times, so many people feel so lonely, so isolated, so it will contribute to the depression. So my recommendation would be just to really look at what's going on inside of you. Yeah, maybe journal, do something that helps you, like just move energy, just get out in the sun, like be in the sun for at least 20 minutes a day. Even that might change things for you. And then with care, bringing out what is actually going on inside, what are the emotions that are painful, that are buried deep within. So that would be my recommendation for depression. But let's see what we received, and again, you guys are welcome to write here. So women asked.
That's the question about how can women support.
Okay.
I think we had this also, right?
We also had this, yeah. So yeah, let's go right into that. So Yoga Linas is asking, how do we as women support our men in the process of transitioning from ejaculatory to more subtle orgasms? So first of all, is that you can do something, but it's not really 100% up to you. Yeah, and as a woman, like let's say first that it's really the man who has to make this empowered decision. It has to come from his like full body. Yes, he's like, yes, this is what I want, this is what I choose. If he doesn't do it, it's not your job to change him. It's not your job to influence him in this way. You can only focus on wanting to upgrade your relationship or to change the relationship, change the dynamics in the relationship, but it's not your job to try to influence him in this way. So what you can do is to notice your excitement. Yeah, when you're making love, when there comes this moment of like really wanting to suck him in, like it's a specific moment, like energetic moment that comes where it's like there's really this hungry energy in your yoni that's like, give it to me. Yeah, and there's this excitement and intense arousal. So notice when this happens and lean back with that and try to hold that energy. Don't let it expel and kind of try to suck him, but just like hold it energetically and let it run through your body. So that will be such huge help for a man. It's like we, as women, and I write also about this in my book, that we have this inbuilt mechanism of sucking the man in. So that's how you are provoking his ejaculation. And if you would be how do you call it? Transmuting the energy through your whole body, moving the energy through your whole body, that will be the best help for him.
Right. Yeah. So this is beautiful. Fully agree with this. And also, there's this need for validation that I think many women have somehow. That they also, on some level, they want him to ejaculate also. So it's a very visible sign that he has enjoyed the experience and like, okay, he's had an orgasm, and so this is great. But there can be this component of like looking for validation in this also. And this is also something that you, as the woman in the relationship, can just be looking out for if you have this, because you want him to like have this experience somehow. Then of course it will also come through your energy, and then it's more difficult for him to move away from this ejaculation. Especially when he first starts to explore the more subtle orgasms, it will not be so strong, as we said already many times. So for both of you, it will be maybe a bit new. He will feel that there's less of a strong sensation, and you will also get less validation in the moment, because it's not so obvious that he's really having a great time. So be on the lookout for this also. That would be my add-on to this.
Yeah, and know that his ejaculation, there's nothing to take personally really about it. It's his experience, and it is a result of stimulation. It's this physical orgasm. Of course, it's a level of his arousal, but it's really, his arousal depends on his energy level. It's less about his attraction. So that also women need to reframe. And we also received questions from men who were asking ways for my woman to accept semen retention and non-ejaculatory orgasm during sex, because yeah, as we said before, like yeah, some women just crave this. And then what men can do in this case also, because what men are also taught to do is when they learn to move their energy up, so from the sex center up to the body, and then that will contribute to the full body orgasms, instead of continually doing that, just bringing the energy up, you also can bring the energy down to the earth. So, because she might feel like, and it actually can be a real experience, that if you're constantly focusing on moving the energy up, you're actually not fully present with her. And she will feel like, hey, like, there's a part of you missing, hello? Like, so what you can do is, instead of continually moving the energy up, also bring the energy down and ground it into the earth. Yeah, so you bring it back down into the body as well, and even lower down, like you can feel like you're really surrendering your energy into the earth, and then she will also feel it, because she is part of the earth. So that's what a man can do.
Yeah. Yeah, and this energetic practice, of course, it takes, it's a practice, yeah? It takes some practice to do this and to really develop this capacity, like we said, to conduce the energy. And again, in the training, we'll do that. Don't want to say it all the time, but I just wish that I would have started like this.
Yeah, then there was an interesting question. Where does the sperm go after orgasm when you don't ejaculate? It's a great question.
Comes out of the nose.
Or from the ears, and then it's just like...
Yeah, no, I mean, so when we don't ejaculate, it will just be reabsorbed by the body, and it just becomes again a part of this magnificent process that is happening inside of us, that is directly steered by life with a capital L. And yeah, the energy just gets moved, and we just have actually more energy available and more vitality.
Yeah, it's a process in physics. It's called transmutation. You know, when you take some substance and you convert it into another substance, that's what you can do with your own body. Like, our bodies are alchemists. And when you work with energy, because it's not healthy to just stop ejaculating completely, you need to do practice around this. That's what also it's important for men to understand. It's not that you just stop through your will. I mean, some men do that, but it's not going to be that harmonious. So instead, you need to apply this transmutation process where you are actively using the power of your mind. Initially, this will be the power of your mind, where you are visualizing what's happening, and in this way you are activating energetic flows in your body, and that's how it converts from this gross matter, the sperm itself, it gets converted into pure sexual energy, and then this sexual energy serves anything you want it for your health, for your well-being, for your aliveness, for your energy, for your capacity to direct this energy towards your success, towards your relationships, towards giving something to the world that you want to give. So that's what happens to sperm. No, it does not start leaking from your ears immediately.
Yeah, for that you would need a lot of sperm. Yeah.
So there was. What should we take?
Okay, well let's go with these. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
So suggestions to invite my woman to go deeper than surface clitoral orgasms. Somebody asked, and what I would say is, first of all, release the pressure from her. So release any pressure around. Okay, you need to now have this sort of an orgasm or that sort of an orgasm, because these deeper forms of orgasms only come from a profound relaxation. So if you want her to have a deeper orgasm, you need to make sure that she feels more safe, and that she feels more safe to be in this interaction with you. And you need to really remove any sort of pressuring, even in a subtle way, and really hold space for her. And from there, like when she's like really, really deeply relaxed and surrendering, and you are in tune with her and circulating energy, as we've spoken about, then deeper orgasms happen, all different types.
Beautiful. Practically, how it may look like is that you really take on the masculine role and you create the structure, because that's what the masculine is all about. It's providing the safe space, the structure where you go like, look, now switch off your phone, forget about everything. We have 2 hours. You don't need to think about anything. And then you've prepared a beautiful space, you put on music, you lit on candles, you really created this atmosphere where she comes in and she's like, wow. Or maybe you even prepare a bath for her beforehand. You put some rose petals in the bath, put candles, and you tell her, okay, now you have 20 minutes for the bath, just enjoy your time here. After 20 minutes you come out, you come for her, you give her a towel, you wrap her in the towel, you wipe her body dry, then you bring her to the bedroom where it's all beautifully prepared, with beautiful smells and music, and then she might be already orgasming, like she might be, oh my god, oh. And then you just take time to really explore her body, to explore new zones of her body which you don't tend to spend so much time with. For example, how about the back of her knees? When was the last time you really spent dedicated time on the back of her knees? And go in like this, step by step, millimeter by millimeter, exploring her body, and that will open her body, and she may just enjoy and don't go into penetration until she's really, really begging you for that. So that would be a beautiful structure that will create opening for sure.
Boom. I see a question here from Darren. I tried this kind of technique, but some ejaculate still comes out even though I can carry on lovemaking. Is that normal? So just sharing my experience here. Yes, so this can be just pre-cum, but it doesn't have to be this way. Actually, for me it happens when when there's a lot of energy flowing, and some of the energy wants to escape. Yeah? And when I'm not really vigilant, then I can sort of relax a little bit and let it escape and disperses a little bit through the pre-cum, through the pre-ejaculate. In order to not have this, in order to keep the energy flowing, you just need to make sure to lock your root lock. So squeeze your perineum and just make sure to draw it again up and again down so that this energy keeps circulating. And then you shouldn't have any ejaculate unless you desire to have it. Yeah, I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, I think so. Let us know. There was also a question about, what should we take?
You decide now.
I think lots of things we responded as we went. There was a question from a woman, she said, I've recently slept with a new lover and it was so beautiful at the time and now he's retracted. Hello women, maybe many experience something like that, let us know. I feel that this is common amongst men lately. Please shed light.
Boom, you want me to shed some light?
Yeah, maybe you can start. Yeah?
Okay, I'll start. Okay, so there are different options, that can happen, and I'll just give you the first option here, and the first option is that he's just not into you, actually.
That's actually 100%. He is not into you. If you have to second guess a man, try to interpret his messages or lack of his messages in thinking that, oh, maybe he just lost his phone, forget about it. Just give yourself a break, be kind to yourself, and just know that if a man does not come back after a night together, he's not into you. He's not your man. And don't worry about what did you do wrong, what did you do right. Don't think about that. It's just not your guy. That's it. Just forget about it. So that would be my
right. And so that doesn't necessarily mean that there's something about you or something like this, but just I mean, you don't know obviously what's happening in his life. Also, maybe he's non-committal with every single thing that he does in his life.
most
and
likely.
yeah, never takes responsibility for anything at all. And with this sort of a man, then this is.
Why do you even need to hang out with someone like that? It's a big thing for men, yeah, to learn commitment, to learn how your energy impacts the world, impacts the woman you're with, and through sex particularly. It's such a huge way to penetrate someone. Like, you're really actively penetrating someone's body. Like, sex is happening in a woman's body. Like, it's a big thing. And so to take responsibility for our impact on people, that's what we have to do as we become mature beings. Like, it's also for women, yeah, women also do that sometimes, yeah. We cross people's boundaries, we overgive, we do things that we cannot hold ourselves accountable for, and that's one of those examples, and it's very common, unfortunately. And it's also up for each of us individually to decide that's if it's a kind of behavior you are open to or not, and then just be clear about that, and then you don't need to second guess anybody, and you're totally worthy, and you are totally made for being with someone who is fully there for you, who will check in with you after you make love, who will like honor you for the precious being that you are.
Here we have a question. My partner has a struggle with needing an extended period of time to orgasm, 1 to 2 hours. So this is the question. So my question about the question is like what's actually the problem? What's really the struggle here? I would just interpret this question, and I would just interpret that he has sort of like a goal orientation, and he wants some kind of an experience to seal off the lovemaking, and if he doesn't have this experience, it's a fail, and only if he has it, it's a success in sex. Yeah, that's now my interpretation of this question, and that's also my answer to the question. So the invitation that I would give to anyone, really, to any man, I know this is quite common, is to see if we can really enjoy the journey and really enjoy every moment of the lovemaking, and not be so hooked up to having this specific experience in the end in order to make it a success, but rather see it as a moment of a sacred communion also with our partner, where we get to know each other in a very, very intimate and very deep way, and where we explore consciousness together, or love together. So this would be my invitation for this question.
Beautiful. Focus, because orgasm can be a goal for many people, and they feel like sex is not a success unless they've achieved that goal. So, as you're saying, focus less not on the goal. Try to really eradicate the goal, and that's what I hear also from many men, that they say that just completely changes their experience as soon as they just drop the goal and go like, okay, there's no goal. What's left then? What's left then is the process and the connection and the intimate communion with your beloved.
Okay, so in some countries, men prefer prostate orgasm. What is the best way to ask, and how should we approach? And what is the best way to do prostate orgasm? Do you want to share first, or?
Well, it seems like on the contrary, maybe that men don't want prostate. Is it what you mean? That like they feel a bit like embarrassed by the whole thing about anal stimulation and prostate orgasm, and that's very common. Not only in some countries, I think it's pretty global. Unless there are some like super open cultures where maybe it's less. But generally, the whole subject of anal anything. Oh my God. Like, maybe already some people will leave the life, like, they hear the word anus and it's like, oh my God, you lost like half of the people. But actually, ass is a beautiful part of our body that does have incredible orgasmic potential. And there's nothing shameful about it. It's very human, it's very normal. Yes, some people feel really embarrassed, thinking that it may mean that it's like homosexual somehow thing for a man to enjoy anal pleasure. It makes him like not straight or something. And there's a lot of fear around this, which also is interesting to explore. Why exactly? What is so scary about this? But then, yeah, it's just like coming to the fact that yeah, it's a beautiful part of the body that has incredible amount of neural endings, which means it can produce, when they are activated and stimulated and opened, that it can produce incredible amount of pleasure. So why not enjoy that if it's given to us? I mean, I know why. Yeah, some people are also really scared of what? The elephant in the room?
Of shit.
Shit! Oh, so scary. Shit is so scary. Oh my god. So yeah, basically don't be scared of shit. It's okay.
Have your shit together.
And there's not as much shit that people think. So yeah, basically, again, as we spoke already before, there's never ever you need to insist on something for your partner. Like, come on, let's try this. Come on, darling, let's try this. It's not really the way to really meet a person and invite them into where you want to invite them. The best way to invite a person where you want them to go is by actually thinking of what they need. Yeah, what they may need, what may be interesting for them. Yeah, and so maybe it may be that he wants to experience something himself beyond himself. Yeah, so it's a different attitude. It's not that, oh, our sex life is so boring, let's try something new. Whereas on the contrary, you can go like, hey, like there may be something that actually gives you what you want. Like find something deeper about yourself through that. Yeah, because that's really the journey that we can go on through sexuality. And then, yeah, never insist on anything. You can invite, you can express your openness towards that. You can express your curiosity, but don't put this pressure. That's what I would say.
Beautiful. And just to add very quickly to that, like also, yeah, about this question, how to approach this, I would just give a very simple advice, like just put something in your ass. Like just next time that you take a shower, just put your finger in your ass and just try it out, you know? And like just experience. It's quite simple, like just like this, and just try it and see if you like it, and that's all. And you will see that it's actually super pleasurable, and yeah, eventually you may get to really like it.
Okay.
Logical, yeah. No rocket science, man. It's no rocket science.
Okay, well, feels like maybe a good place to wrap it up. It was fun. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for supporting with your presence, with your curiosity. And if you want to go deeper, you're so welcome to join us for a really epic adventure, epic experience of discovering yourself, the next level of you that is available there for you. And that's what happens in the temple space at my trainings. It will be such a joy to welcome you here. If that's not up your alley just now, you're welcome to also get my book, Liberation to Orgasm. It's available everywhere through Amazon.
So maybe just for people, maybe just in like 2 sentences or 3 sentences, what do we do in the training?
We do magic. We create incredible magic. We create incredible sense of connectedness between all of us and a sense of support in a community of people who are really people like you, wanting to live from your heart, wanting to live from your soul in embrace of the spirit. So that's number one thing that we do. We practice a lot of energetic cultivation. We explore, like you really get to understand mentally how your energy works, how it functions, how to increase your energy, how to circulate your energy. So we're going to do a lot of work on that. And specifically there will be this exploration of orgasmicness. So we will be looking at how our bodies are naturally orgasmic, so how it's not even about fancy techniques. It's like it's good to know how the energy works, how we are built on a subtle level, on the level that we cannot see. But then it's really about dropping everything and allowing your inner truth to take over. So yeah, that's what we're doing, and just training with people, with also amazing, beautiful group of people who are joining us. So if that's calling you, please reach out and send me a message. And really excited to start really soon.
And we have, I think, 5 more spots. Yeah, 5 more spots for men, and then we are full. So yeah, let's go.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you guys. It's been an honor to be here with you. Thank you, Sophia.
Thank you so much.
Hope this was enjoyable and helpful for everyone. And yeah, wishing you a wonderful evening.